Listen up, you yinzies. Man, it's been a rough 6 days, y'all. We done went through a lot, man. We lost the game to the diabolical Bengals. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit today about how I feel concerning the loss to the Bengals. First of all, man, let me say what's cracking to everybody over in the live chat. Afton, Carlo, Jaime Carlo, Steeler Lee. Everybody else is going to join in and join me at this fireside chat to talk a little bit about keeping it 100 concerning the Pittsburgh Steelers and their defense, y'all. Y'all, I've been through a barrage of emotions in the last 6 days. I went from being pissed off to being ready to crash out to being in denial to being ready to just say, I'm done with the Steelers, to be willing to say, I'm done with Mike Tomlin, to be saying whatever else I wanted to say. But at some point, I had to just get to the part where I had to face facts and face reality and start looking at some of the issues concerning the state of the defense of my Pittsburgh Steelers. Y'all, let me explain this first, even before I go into, Steeler Lee, I'm used to disappointment a little bit, but not all like that. Not like this. Not the way this Bengals loss stung, man. It stung. So let me just say this before I even get started to give you a precursor in my thinking of what I'm going to talk about and keeping it 100. Y'all, I've played football. I've coached football on every level except the NFL. I have friends and colleagues, family members that have played in the National Football League, but I've never played it down in the NFL. But college, junior college, high school, junior high, Pee Wee League, done it all, right? There's one constant in all level of football. Every offensive play is designed to score a touchdown. And every defensive play is designed to stop the opposing team from scoring a touchdown, right? Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about scheme, and you're going to hear me over on the Big Show tonight talk a lot with Big B about scheming and how a scheme does play a part in being able to stop or delay or just blow up an opposing offense from being able to do what they need to do. But some of it comes down to the players executing the scheme. Now, I made this preference right off the back to be able to explain this to you. I've been saying for the last 6 days, there was lackluster effort by the Steelers' defensive players. Not only was there lackluster effort, because they did give some effort, it just wasn't the right effort. There was lack of execution on their part as well. Y'all, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Yinzies that's in the comments, that's listening to me talk and hearing what I'm saying. We have one of the highest paid defenses in the NFL. We literally changed our schematics from a defensive standpoint to be able to beat teams like the Cincinnati Bengals, like the Kansas City Chiefs, because we thought we had all this ability on the outside at the cornerback position, all this ability from the defensive line to be able to get home and sack the quarterback, all of this ability by having linebackers that could run in zone coverage and could play man-to-man. It didn't show up against the Cincinnati Bengals. It didn't show up. So it can be scheme. It can be coaching. I'm not tripping. But it was also lackluster effort and lackluster execution of the Pittsburgh Steelers players. Y'all, TJ Watt is the highest paid defensive player in the NFL. And you mean to tell me he only got pressure on Joe Flacco 2 times, because that half sack they gave him credit for, that wasn't his sack. That was Cam Hayward's sack. Now, he did get home once, but out of 72 offensive snaps by the Cincinnati Bengals, he couldn't get no pressure, and he's the highest paid defensive player in the league. You mean to tell me that Cam Hayward, who's an all-pro, that wanted to be paid like an all-pro, can't get home but one time the whole game? You mean to tell me that Alex Highsmith can't get home? You mean to tell me that Nick Herbig, hell, where was he even at in the game? They can't get home? You mean to tell me that? You mean to tell me when you send guys on run blitzes like Deshaun Elliott, like Patrick Queen, like Peyton Wilson, that they can't get home? Come on, man. They can't get home. You mean to tell me that we have Jalen Ramsey, who's an all-pro corner, that we have Darius Slay, Super Bowl winning corner, and we have supposedly this Joey Porter Jr. kid that's supposed to be a really good corner, and they can't slow down the Bengals? Yeah, I get scheme. I get it. But it's also effort. Now, Stiller Lee, you saying lackluster effort tells me there's not that much respect for Mike Tomlin. I totally disagree. Players respect Mike Tomlin a lot. Matter of fact, when you poll and do a census of NFL teams, most players have Mike Tomlin listed in the top 3 coaches in the NFL for who they want to play for. So it's not got nothing to do with lackluster or not wanting to play for Mike Tomlin. The issue is sometimes the players don't do what they're supposed to do in order to be prepared and execute the game plan. Now, I will say this about the coaching, right? There should have been some schematical changes along the way. But if you actually go back and watch the game, there was some schematical changes along the way. They didn't play press man the whole game. They did not. And anybody that tells you that didn't watch the film. They played some zone schemes. They just couldn't stop them. That literally, the complementary football that should have been played by the Pittsburgh Steelers from the defensive backfield and the interior front 7 didn't help each other at all. Everybody, a lot of people is out there blaming the defensive backs. They got cooked. They got this. They got that. I will repeat this over and over and over and over again. And I don't care what Yinzi's going to say this or going to disagree with me, but it's the truth. There is no defense in the NFL that can stop an NFL caliber wide receiver for 1001, 1002, 1003, and 1004. Joe Flacco was out there 1004 and a whole bunch of times. The DBs are going to get cooked. Not to mention, they played against probably the best 1-2 combination of wide receivers in the whole freaking NFL. Jamar Chase by far is the number 1 wide receiver. But T. Higgins ain't out of the top 15. I'm telling you right now, he ain't out of the top 15. So if the defensive line doesn't get home, of course the defensive backs are going to look like trash. And that's exactly what happened. They looked like trash because they couldn't get home. They couldn't get home. This has to do with execution. Y'all, we all know, and let's just face facts. On paper, the Cincinnati Bengals have the worst combination of offensive linemen and tight ends in the National Football League. They're 29 and down. So if you don't say they're 32nd, oh, they're 29, 30, 31, 32. How in the hell did they block them? I'm going to tell you how they did it. Execution and effort. Execution and effort. Y'all, Keanu Benton got his lunch handed to him through execution and effort. Patrick Queen got his lunch handed to him through execution and effort. Nick Herbig got his lunch handed to him through execution and effort. TJ Watt got his lunch handed to him through execution and effort. Now, I'm just telling it like it is. Mike Tomlin do got something to do with this. Coach Austin, the defensive coordinator, does got something to do with this. And anybody that says that they ain't got nothing to do with it, are you in denial too? You're still in the denial stage of grief, still trying to figure out how in the hell we lost to the diabolical Bengals, right? You're still in that denial. But the issue is, yes, they have something to do with it. Yes, the schematics have something to do with it. But a coach can draw a play up all day and night. The player got to do his job. And like I said, to preference it out with, every defense is designed to stop the offensive team. And every offensive play is designed to score a touchdown. Who wanted to do it more? It's obvious who wanted to do it. The Cincinnati Bengals wanted to do it way more than the Pittsburgh Steelers. You saw the sense of urgency. You saw the sense of play calling execution. Joe Flacco came out publicly and stated, and their head coach, and stated that they knew what the Steelers was doing even before they did it. They knew what they was doing even before they did it. So yeah, you got something to do with the scheme, but also you can't tell me some of the Steelers players didn't know what the hell Cincinnati was going to do. You can't tell me they didn't know. They knew the ball was going to, hell, it's obvious Jamar Chase got damn near 20 targets. They knew they was throwing the ball to number one. Stop him. Stop him. And in all actuality, and let's just be honest, Yenzies, in all actuality, it came down to one stop. It came down to one stop. It came down to, in the fourth quarter, after Aaron Rodgers takes the offensive team down and scores and puts the Steelers up, you got to stop them one time. You got to stop them one time. Lack of execution. Lack of execution. Lack of execution. I'm going to say it over and over again. Piss poor effort. Maybe not no effort, but piss poor effort. Absolutely. Steelers Almighty said, but preach, brother, preach. Tell him. He said, pass the plate. You better believe it, bro. Pass the plate. Because the issue, it comes down to the fact of those players got their ass kicked. Bottom line, whether you want to believe it or not. And like I said, listen, this is not throw Mike Tomlin under the bus moment. And it's a Tomlin loss and blah, blah, blah. Get the hell out of here. This is a Pittsburgh Steelers loss. Everybody had something to do. Even the Water Boys got something to do with us getting our ass kicked by the Cincinnati Bengals on Thursday night. Everybody got something to do with this, right? So, yes, ultimately, it ends with the head coach. It starts and ends. But the players got to do their damn job. The players got to do their job, right? Dwayne McNair says this, man. Did they practice, Big G? I know Cam and TJ take at least 2 days off for the rest during the week. Let me tell you something, man. With professional players like that, bro, there's not that much need to practice. The issue is understanding what you have to do concerning the game plan and then go out and execute it, right? It doesn't take a rocket science to figure out what I got to do is beat the man in front of me and go sack Joe Flacco. That's not rocket science. It doesn't take, that comes down to me actually doing my job, which they pay me for. And by the way, like I said, I'm putting preference on the fact that the Pittsburgh Steelers is one of the highest, if not the highest, defensive paid teams in the National Football League. In the National Football League, 32 teams, and they get a lot of bread. You got to go out and be able to do what we pay you to do. You got to be able to go out and execute it. And like I said, it'd be different if we didn't break up the team that we had from last year's defense from a specific standpoint to stop teams like the Kansas City Chiefs, stop teams like the Cincinnati Bengals. You bring all these pieces in to stop them. They didn't execute. They didn't do their damn job. They didn't do it. So I know that some of the diabolical Yenzies want to say, oh, this is why we'll never win a game or a playoff game with Mike Tomlin. Oh, this is why this, that, and this. It's all Tomlin's fault. Bullshit. It ain't all Mike Tomlin's fault. The issue is it's on the players as well as the coach, because your responsibility is to execute whatever is called. What your responsibility is to do it. Yes, it's the coach's job to change up the defense, give them a different look. Yes, it's their job, but it's your job to execute it and stop them. The Steelers look lost at sometimes. There was plays that some of the Pittsburgh Steelers, I was like, what in the hell are you doing? Now, some of it might be personnel decisions. In my own personal opinion, I don't have a dog in the fight. But if I was a head coach or the defensive coordinator, Keanu Benton wouldn't hardly play at all no more. Moving forward, because he can't play at the position they're trying to ask him to play. He can't. He can't play inside defensive tackle. He gets blown up at inside defensive tackle. He can't play at that spot, right? If I'm the coach, and like I said, I don't have a dog in the fight. Peyton Wilson, dog, you're going to be sitting on the bench a little bit more. But then the question is, who do I bring in? Do I bring in Cole Holcomb, who gets killed in coverage of tight ends and wide receivers? Right? Darius Slay was out there getting destroyed. Maybe the fact is Joey Porter got to get healthier. And Joey Porter ain't learned how to not grab yet. I understand that there was some controversial pass interference calls and A, B, C, and D. But and in my opinion, because I watched the all 22 film twice, yeah, there was a couple of offensive pass interference, especially for the Jamar Chase shutdown. That was OPI. But you can't cry about what the officials will and won't do. You got to execute and do your damn job. And that's not what the Steelers did. The defense did not execute and do their job. Their job is to stop the Bengals by any means necessary, right? Andre Green, the Steelers don't play a nose tackle. That's the problem. We run a Tampa 2 defense that doesn't really have a nose. We play 2 inside defensive tackles that either line up in pinch positions over the center or line up directly across the guard. We don't play a traditional 3-4 defense like most teams play. We play a Tampa 2 defense. So we don't really have a nose. We don't have a true guy that's a nose. But Keanu Benton is small. He's small. I'm not saying he don't give effort, but he's too damn small to play inside like that. And if you go back and you watch the film, he got blown up all damn game. He got blown up. Keanu Benton got his ass kicked all damn game by Cincinnati Bengals offensive linemen that might not even be on the Cincinnati Bengals next year. That's the whole killer part about it. Some of those guys that's playing offensive linemen for the Cincinnati Bengals might not be there next year to play offensive line for the Cincinnati Bengals. He got whipped, so he can't play the position. He can't. I'm calling for Black to play more. I'm calling for Aquale, the defensive tackle from New England, Black, our rookie defensive tackle, Harmon, our rookie defensive tackle, and Hayward to play a lot more than Keanu Benton. I'm calling for it. Because like I said, I'm not a coach. I don't have a dog in the fight. But if it was me, that's what I would do. Darius Slay wouldn't get put on an island no more. No. Darius Slay has to have help coverage to his side. Darius Slay cannot play man-to-man, and especially not press man. He can't do it. He can't. We have enough evidence now. We play 6 games. From a schematic standpoint, you can't leave Darius Slay on an island. You just can't do it. He can't. He was out there getting destroyed. So no. JPJ, he hasn't shown that he can be trusted enough to not be handsy and hold and get a pass interference call. Right? So maybe there's where some of the accountability goes in with the coaching. Because JPJ keeps doing the same stuff. Right? Peyton Wilson gets lost in the sauce 24/7. Lost in the sauce. He out there looking and you don't know what the hell he's in. You don't know what he's doing as far as a defensive standpoint. So there's some questions that's going on. The defense, y'all, is a mess. The defense is a mess, right? The defense is in the position that we didn't want it to be in. Because we also call for complementary football from the offense being able to score and the defense being able to shut them down. I just want to ask all you Yenzies that follow us over here on the KnoItAllz channel, when was the last time you saw the Pittsburgh Steelers score 30-plus points and lose? I just want you to think about it. When was the last time that the Pittsburgh Steelers scored 30-plus points and lose a game? When was the last time? Most of y'all can't even recall it. When was the last time you saw the Steelers score 30 and lose? Because it's always been our defense stopped the opposing team. Our defense. Y'all, Aaron Rodgers played his ass off. I'm telling you, outside of the diabolical throwing it into double coverage, pushing the ball to DK Metcalf on the outside, outside of that diabolical play, Aaron Rodgers played his ass off, right? Because the second interception wasn't really on Aaron Rodgers. Really, to be honest, it wasn't really on DK Metcalf. Because if you and I'm talking about the officials, but I'm not making excuses. I'm just telling the truth. Okay? The NFL rules state that if any player is laying out of bounds and touching the football, and there's a lack of possession on either side of the ball, it's automatically a dead ball. Both of the Turner and Metcalf was laying out of bounds. Neither one of them had full possession. If Metcalf's laying on the ground and he's out of bounds, and Turner's laying on top of him and he doesn't have clear possession, that ball's out of bounds. But once again, it's still not an excuse. It's just the truth of it. That's what happened, right? And because football is going to football. Football is going to have plays where things happen that's just out of your control. And those are one of those things that happen. But you shouldn't be putting yourself in a position to be in that situation, right? You shouldn't be putting yourself in a position. Now, let me go and see what Jaime said. Jaime said, defense is inconsistent. That's what makes me think it's the scheme and the coaching. But if it's the players, then they need to be replaced. It's both, Jaime. It's both. You can't have one without the other one. Yeah, Terrell Austin. Yeah, Mike Tomlin messed it up. But the players didn't execute it either. So it's both. You can have two things wrong at the exact same time. And believe me, both things was wrong at the exact same time. The wrongness for me started with believing and implementing a man press scheme against the two best wide receivers in the NFL. Double cover Jamar Chase and take him out of the game and make somebody else beat you. I can live with T. Higgins getting 16 catches because I don't think he's as explosive as Jamar Chase. I just can't. I think the Bengals play complementary football one to the other. If Chase gets off, then maybe Higgins doesn't have such a great game. That's what we just saw. But you can't afford to let Chase get off. That's just how it works. Black and Gold Standard. He says, Black is the only DT on the roster that has the size to play the nose tackle. Hayward can do it. Harmon can do it too, bro. Hayward and Equale can do it. Hayward, Harmon, Equale, and Black could do it. But they don't play a traditional nose. They always play from a nickel package with two defensive tackles on the inside. The outside tackles. They always play two. Sometimes they play three deep down linemen and they give a traditional 3-4 look. But most of the time they play two inside guys that play inside of the tackles. A lot of times either head up on the guards or they're inside the gap. I.e., I want to tell you something. The Steelers gave a lot of what's called a double A gap blitz look to the Cincinnati Bengals. Sometimes they dropped out of it. Sometimes they didn't. But when they did try to do it, right? So now you got the two edges, two inside linebackers, and two defensive tackles. That's 6 guys. The Cincinnati Bengals blocked it every damn time. 5 offensive linemen and a tight end whooped that front six's ass on a regular basis. They whooped them. They whooped them. There was multiple times the Pittsburgh Steelers ran double A-gap blitz and couldn't get home. That's unacceptable. That is totally unacceptable. How do you have a double A-gap blitz and you can't get home? Somebody ain't executing somewhere. Somebody ain't giving no effort somewhere. Somebody's lackluster in what they're doing somewhere, because everybody got a one-on-one. I got the highest paid defensive player in TJ Watt, and you can't get home on a one-on-one. I got Nick Herbig that's been getting all this high praise about being this, that, and this, and we can get rid of Highsmith, and you can't beat a dude on a one-on-one. I got Cam Hayward who says I'm an all-pro defensive tackle, and I can't get home on a one-on-one. Stop that. Stop that. That's their inability to effectively execute the game plan. Might have been some effort, might even been some energy, but it wasn't enough to beat the guy in front of you. Football, y'all, comes down to a lot of times me beating the person in front of me, doing my job and executing my job and beating the guy in front of me. There wasn't a whole lot of that going on last Thursday night. There wasn't a whole lot of that going on last Thursday night. There wasn't a whole lot of beating the person in front of me in order to get home and cause pressure. So then that way I put Joe Flacco on the ground. And by the way, Yinzies, for all y'all that said, oh, that was a great play call when they ran Joe Flacco around the end. That was a busted play. Joe Flacco already said it. He said that when he saw the defensive end cheat down, right, the running back ran the wrong way. So he wasn't going to lose yards. So he literally ran around the end. Guess what happened on that play? Our defensive end stand-up outside linebacker had a total lack of discipline, effort, and execution, and Joe Flacco ran for a first down on a busted freaking play. That ain't got nothing to do with Mike Tomlin. That ain't got nothing to do with Terrell Austin. That's got to do with that player not executing and doing what he was supposed to do to stop that play. Because if he's in the right place doing the right thing, Flacco doesn't pick up the first down, we get the ball back, and we probably win the game. I'm just saying facts now. I'm just spitting, telling y'all what actually happened. And the question is, do we actually have it? Do we actually have it? Malcolm Fisher says, Fletcher, man, we appreciate the comment. He said, if Flacco said they knew the Steelers were going to do it, then it's Mike Tomlin. We got too much talent to blame it 100% on the players. It's the scheme. That's BS, bro. How can Mike Tomlin stop a defensive end from not being in the correct position to stop Joe Flacco on a busted in-the-round play? He shot inside. That wasn't his assignment. His assignment was to stand up on the end and stop the outside if there was anything to run to the outside. In his head, he thought, oh, Joe Flacco's not going to do that. I'm going to shoot inside and shoot the gap and look like a hero. No, be disciplined. Be disciplined. Execute the game plan you're supposed to be. That has got nothing to do with Mike Tomlin. Nothing. Nothing to do with Terrell Austin. That was the lack of effort and discipline on that player, which ultimately put the Cincinnati Bengals in position to win the game. Lack of execution. Lack of execution. I'm going to keep telling you, it's lack of execution. Because it really, in this particular game, it came down to one play here, one play there, one play here, one play there. I can go back 10, 15 times and say one play here, one play there, one play here, and show you where the player didn't execute what they were supposed to do. Right? Hey, okay, so I hear you, Black and Gold Standard. Mike Tomlin stopped it by putting his ass on the bench. Okay, if that's the case, okay, you're going to put Nick Herbig on the bench, you're going to put Highsmith on the bench, you're going to put TJ Watt on the bench, because those are the players that didn't do what they were supposed to do. Right? Jaime says, gee, these boys taking days off. I played good against Cleveland. I'm resting against the Bengals. And if that's the case, these kids need to talk to former Steelers players and maybe they'll see. Jaime, I've been calling for it. Jaime, I said right after the game was over with, literally right after the game was over with, I said that there needs to be a players-only meeting, especially from the defense, to where the leaders, the guys that we paid all the bread, to go up in there and say, look, you know what? I was dead wrong. So I'm starting with TJ Watt, Cam Hayward, and Jalen Ramsey. Y'all, I was dead wrong. My execution was ass. I played terrible. It'll never happen again. And I'm not going to let you do it again. That's what they should have had. Now, I don't know. I don't know if that happened or not. But I've been around teams where that's what had to happen in order for things to get right. Right? You can only hold the coach so much to where the players got to do their job. You know where I've seen this before? And I know this is not apples to apples. It's college football versus professional football, but I saw that happen in Ohio State. I saw last year, after they lost to Michigan, they had a players-only meeting, and it got real uncomfortable in there. And some coaches got thrown up underneath the bus. Matter of fact, there was actually a fight. There was actually a fight. And after it was over with, wasn't no more of that bullshit. Wasn't no more of this, that, and this. We won regularly. Matter of fact, Ohio State went on to win 4 straight games and win the national championship, and they blew everybody out they played but Texas. They stomped a mud hole in every team they played. These are collegiate guys. If collegiate kids can do it, how come NFL players can't do it? Still, will leave you big facts. The best teams police themselves, and they don't need the coaches to hold them accountable. That's facts. The best teams police themselves. You don't need no coach. Oh, well, if the coach's scheme was bullshit. No, you don't. No, you don't. You need to go in there and execute and do what you need to do. Right? Peter McCray, man, thanks for joining the show. You're right. I can't stand these outside linebackers shooting inside and getting beat on bootlegs. That's a lack of discipline. That's a lack of effort. That's a lack of execution. You're absolutely correct. Absolutely correct, man. The bottom line is that this has to stop. It has to stop. And it's only going to stop if the Steelers players come together and do what they need to do. Yes, I'm not saying I'm not a Tomlin apologist. You can never say I am, because I'm down with the Pittsburgh Steelers regardless who the damn coach is, right? But the issue is every play is designed to score a touchdown. Every defensive play is designed to stop the touchdown. Who executes better is who wins the football game. Hey, man, thank all y'all for rocking with me on another weekly Keeping It 100 show, a fireside chat that we have every week here on the KnoItAllz podcast, live on Tuesdays, man. I appreciate all you guys for coming in, for rocking with us. For some of you guys, we've never seen you in the chat before. Please make sure you like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Make sure that you keep it pumping, keep it jumping off, man, during these fireside chats and all the stuff that you see come live on the KnoItAllz podcast. I will be back tonight on the big show with my boy Big B, and me and Big B gonna have some conversations. Me and Big B gonna have to, because like we've been going back and forth about it. And I'm down with a lot of things that Big B's saying. I'm not tripping in it, but I'm the guy that's gonna talk about them players. I'm the guy that's gonna say what he gotta say about them players, and I don't care nothing about them. What they want to do, box or throw rocks, move furniture, whatever they think they're gonna do. But the issue is we're going to tell the truth. And we're going to tell the truth about everything and everybody. We're going to tell the truth about the Pittsburgh Steelers. About the Pittsburgh Steelers. Thank y'all again for rocking with me. I'll catch y'all tonight over on the big show on Steelers Almighty. As for me, Big G, one of the KnoItAllz crew, we appreciate y'all, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Have a great and wonderful day.